All right, guys, welcome. We are on site at a school looking at typical units that you probably find on site. These units are about 10 years old. They appear to be working fine as designed, but they are a little bit weathered. They're probably closer to a little bit less than half of their life left. But as you can see, this is something that we deal with on a normal basis. To inspect, we would take the panel off here. On this particular unit, we take the coil panel off to expose the filter here. But on the other side, we'll go ahead, you can get a good shot of that. We have the coil here on this side, and the coil is nice and clean. Looks like everything's clean and working properly. We do have a little bit of water in the condensate pan, and that is typical, so not a problem there. If we get onto this side here, we have your return air damper, and then you have your economizer damper off to the side there. Right now we are in economizer. This unit does not have a minimum position for outside air, and so we are actively in economizer mode right now. Sorry, I'm gonna come up this way. All right. So this unit does not have a minimum position for outside air. They are in fact return only. But when we come to this guy, this is the economizer hood. When the conditions are right, which is right now, the economizer will act as its first stage of cooling. And so right now we are in that active mode. Let me walk you over here. This is the washable filter for the outside air system. Pull this down. If you can see, this filter it's actually falling apart a little bit here. It's pretty beat up, it's falling apart. The maintenance on this would be to pull it off and to hose it off. When you hose it off, it should be clean. Unfortunately, this unit right here is a little bit falling apart, so this would require replacement. Moving into the outside air damper, you can see that these dampers are open. They are pulling in outside air. This unit is a little bit dirty. The reason why it's dirty is basically because this outside air filter, this is a washable filter, is inadequately up to date, maintained. So this unit probably has not seen its annual PM for school readiness. I'd like to bring you over to this side a little bit here. Talk about these filters for a second. Filters are all designed differently, and this filter right here, it is a little bit dirty, a little bit filthy. However, this is going to be fairly normal for what we see. When school starts, we would expect that the filters are all replaced. This filter could be a MERV 8 depending on the manufacturer's recommendations and the ratings. You can pull these guys out. It's pretty straightforward. There's a frame inside of this mesh, and you would replace it entirely. If you look a little bit closer, Benji, if you can grab this frame right here, this unit does accept two filters. So the intent here would be, it's possible if the district wanted to use a pre-filter and a final filter, we would be able to do that in this particular unit. That's not going to be consistent across the board, but it is a possibility on certain units. You'll have to take a look at that. So for this unit, what would we recommend? We would recommend to clean the dampers, recommend to replace the filter. CDC requires just a clean filter. If you can go MERV 13, that's great. If you don't, then CDC says go as high as you can. And in this case, for this particular unit in its condition, I would personally recommend just a factory replacement filter for this particular unit. Like I said, every unit is different, every school is different, every facility is different, and we have to take our units on a case-by-case basis. We also need to consider the factory warranties. Of course, this unit is not in warranty. However, if something were to happen to it and we were using a filter outside of what the manufacturer's recommendations were, then we need to consider what the manufacturer's support will be. Probably minimal. And so we need to consider that. There are reports that say MERV 13 have a similar or less pressure drop than a MERV 8 if designed properly, if selected properly. But again, Lead time on MERV 13s right now is 2 to 3 months. Is it really possible to get what we need? We need to get students in class, and that's the big intent. CDC and CDE also don't require 13, but they do require the best possible filtration. And in this case, might be factory replacement is all we need. Looks like the cooling coils in the beginning of the video were clean, so that's great news. Down below, this unit is currently on. It currently is producing cooling, and so we're good there. The compressor is not on. The reason why the compressor is not on, we have economizer conditions. So we actually don't have the additional noise of the compressor and the condenser fan to kind of make noise in this video. But anyhow, so that's a quick inspection and a quick recommendation of what we would expect every district to do for every single unit. It is quite a bit of work, and so we want to keep it at a point where it's feasible. So outside air filter is a little bit tattered and beat up. Probably need to replace that guy. So instead of cleaning it, just replace it. We understand the limitations here, so at a minimum it needs to be clean. And that's about it. So thanks for joining in, and we'll turn it back to the presentation.